The following is an Investor Brand Network audio production via our audio press release solutions. As a multifaceted financial news and publishing company, Investor Brand Network utilizes its network of more than 5,000 distribution partners as well as other corporate communication tools to introduce public and private companies to a wide audience of investors, consumers, journalists, and the general public. Investor Brand Network's platform connects the investment community with companies that have great potential and a strong dedication to building shareholder value. The following audio press release may feature a client partner of Investor Brand Network. Investor Brand Network may have been compensated for the production of this audio production. Please be sure to read our entire disclaimer for full disclosure.
Network Newswire presents Bitcoin Volatility Makes Market, Creates Growth Opportunities. Investors understand that, for a variety of reasons, volatility is part and parcel to investing in cryptocurrencies. For Bitcoin, the most popular of all digital currencies, a finite supply and the nascency of the market are key contributors to volatility that can test a small retail investor's resolve. The reality is that volatility is not a bad thing. In fact, it is rather instrumental in the making of any market. A month ago, Bitcoin was setting a new record high at $68,978, leading a cryptocurrency market that topped $3 trillion in valuation for the first time. Against that backdrop, companies continue to invest and innovate, looking for ways to mine more Bitcoin and widen margins, whether it be through scale, technology, or other means. ISW Holdings Incorporated, ticker symbol ISWH, is actively engaged in expansion of both its segments as the company emerges as one of the largest mining and hosting providers in the North America digital currency space. Broadly speaking, there has been no shortfall of positive developments in the cryptocurrency sector, where companies such as Marathon Digital Holdings Incorporated, MARA on NASDAQ, CleanSpark Incorporated, CLSK on NASDAQ, Riot Blockchain Incorporated, RIOT on NASDAQ, and Bitfarms Limited, BITF on NASDAQ, continue to lead the charge. Phase 1 of ISW Holdings' Pod City is nearly complete as part of a larger complex that will pair 56,000 Bitcoin miners to 200 megawatts of power. Power and infrastructure equal revenue and cash flow that allow ISWH to utilize opportunity zones that are the center of its success. ISWH is actively adding to its asset base, which increased by 550 miners and generated $1.075 million during Q3. Once Pod City is running at full capacity, the company estimates annual revenue of almost $7 million per month via hosting contracts. The problem of power. Bitcoin miners are those people and companies that earn cryptocurrency by using computing power to solve complex algorithms to create new blocks of data that are added to the global decentralized ledger known as the blockchain. The blockchain is deemed immutable because of its decentralized nature. In the blockchain, every block is dependent on every other block for continuity, meaning not one component can be changed without immediately throwing up a red flag to the rest of the blockchain. Every crypto miner faces the same challenge: power consumption. The banks of computers solving algorithms consume massive amounts of energy to run full-bore 24/7 365, which has companies looking at every possible way to contain costs. To lend some color to the expense involved, consider that, in aggregate, the Bitcoin industry uses approximately 91 terawatt-hours of electricity annually. That's more than the entire country of Finland. ISW Holdings Incorporated, ticker symbol ISWH, which is in the midst of a name change to Block Quarry, is a Nevada-based portfolio company with primary commercial stage operations in cryptocurrency mining. The flagship asset of ISWH is its Pod City complex that, when complete, will pair 200 megawatts of power with 56,000 crypto mining rigs. In addition to running its own operations, ISWH is a hosting service that provides all the requisite equipment and know-how for clients hoping to enter the crypto mining space. To move the project forward, ISW Holdings partnered with some of the biggest names in the business, including the world's leading producer of cryptocurrency mining hardware and Bit5, a leading global cryptocurrency mining firm. ISWH partnered with Bit5 in May 2020 to build and deliver a powerful and efficient data center pod design. The Pod 4 and Pod 5 data centers, which ISWH brands as BlockPod, were the result, which explains the inaugural project's name. With the Pod City project making substantive progress, ISWH is generating higher revenue than last year. At this point, the company finds itself in a position where power and infrastructure equals revenue and cash flow, which allows ISW Holdings to utilize the opportunity zones that are the center of its success in hosting and mining. Phase 1 completion looming. In the grand scheme of things, ISWH probably couldn't have picked a more challenging time to construct Pod City, with the COVID-19 pandemic striking only months after the Bit5 joint venture, causing global supply chains to grind to a halt. The block pods that are the lifeblood of Pod City are turnkey, bespoke, 40-foot ISO modular containers that use clean, renewable energy and accommodate 1+ megawatts of crypto mining power each, with components sourced from around the world and manufactured in America. A block pod has 280 Antiminer S19J machines with a capacity of 28,000 terahertz per second and daily potential to mine 0.1576 BTC. At 50,000 BTC, that's $7,880 per pod per day. At 200 pods, that's $1.58 million daily or $575.24 million annually. Despite all the headwinds, Pod City has moved forward at a remarkable pace, which speaks volumes about ISWH's partners and access to infrastructure development and mining equipment. The company said earlier this month that Phase 1 of the project is nearly complete. This phase constitutes the infrastructure build-out to deploy 20 megawatts of power to the self-contained cryptocurrency mining pods. The company is on schedule to have all 56,000 miners hooked up to all 200 megawatts of power and running during Q4 2022. In the Opportunity Zone. Speaking about Phase 1, Larry Sossaman, president of Sossaman Construction Company, which is working with Bit5 to build Pod City, commented that the project will create many new jobs and new opportunities in the area. The company looks to capitalize on federal incentives to invest in distressed areas in the United States, dubbed Opportunity Zones. The purpose is to spur economic growth and job creation in low-income communities while providing tax benefits to investors, a win-win for all involved. To the point of governments, ISWH's relationships with municipalities is part and parcel to the success of its projects. Consider that the efficiency and design of the pods overcome the 3 barriers to entry in the BTC mining business: equipment, storage, and energy. Through partnerships with municipalities, ISWH and Bit5 have access to low energy rates that facilitate viable operations. Higher revenue reported ahead of Pod City launch. Developments are translating to revenue and cash flow, resources that will underscore growth in 2022 and beyond with Pod City and other hosting and mining operations. During Q3, ISWH reported revenue from operations of $1.075 million, including deferred revenues, up 2,435% on a year-over-year basis. That didn't include a full 3 months of 550 new miners acquired from MinerSet, 150 of which came as a result of ISWH meeting stock performance milestones. Total assets during Q3 increased 5,263% year-to-date with $9.56 million, while total liabilities decreased 73% and total derivative liabilities decreased 98% to under $340,000. Revenue and cash flows should continue to increase based upon ISWH getting more miners up and running. The company is currently running 700 miners, representing a mix of Bitmain Antminer S17s, Bitmain S19 95 terahertz per second, and Canaan Avalons running in Pod 5 units in Pennsylvania at a site managed by Bit5. Based upon hash rate capacity and a 3-month trailing average pricing of Bitcoin, these units have annual revenue capacity of up to $6 million. Looking ahead, revenue at Pod City will be comprised of hosting service fees, which aren't contingent upon cryptocurrency pricing. Once running at full capacity, the company estimates annual revenue in excess of $7 million per month, a tremendous improvement compared to current capacity with the benefit of being recurring under service contracts.
This audio press release is an original broadcast provided by Investor Brand Network, a multifaceted financial news and publishing company that delivers a new generation of corporate communication solutions, including news aggregation and syndication, social communication, and brand awareness tools. Investor Brand Network may receive payments for the services and solutions provided to its client partners. You should assume that the owners, officers, and directors of Investor Brand Network or financial analysts mentioned in this audio production may hold a position in and may intend to trade the securities on their own accounts. This audio production is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell any securities mentioned in this audio production. The information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be or should it be construed as investment advice. As in all investments, investment in the featured companies carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the companies thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This audio production by Investor Brand Network is not purported to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from featured companies and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by Investor Brand Network as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice. Please see our full disclaimers and disclosures at investorbrandnetwork.com.